After we revealed the astonishing extent of News of the World surveillance last night, we can now show more surveillance footage taken by the paper's private detective Derek Webb. Here's television presenter Richard Madeley, blissfully unaware he's being watched. In these images, he's with his family in London.
My then teenage daughter and her teenage boyfriend are in the centre of these shots. I mean, that's pretty repulsive, actually, that some creepy private detective is spying on my daughter as well as on me. I mean, that's just so yucky. And I think at a visceral level, you know, we know when there's something wrong. We know when somebody's behaving badly or a corporation's behaving badly. We don't need to know if it's illegal or legal. We just know it's wrong. And this is clearly wrong. I mean, to follow me for no good reason at all. I mean, I've racked my brains about what I was doing in May 2006. I was living an ordinary life, you know. There was no scandal. I've got no skeletons in my closet. So to be pursued for 5 days is, what's that phrase, the banality of evil? It's creepy.
Derek Webb would videotape News of the World's surveillance targets, and if he gathered any evidence of interest, he passed it on to journalists at News of the World. Now, some of these tapes underpinned exclusives, but many of these surveillance jobs revealed little more than people going about their everyday lives. Take this family holiday, for example. The private detective was dispatched to the West Country for 10 days in spring 2006 to watch a journalist called Anna Fazakali. The newspaper thought she was having an affair with Boris Johnson. Here she is on the beach with her family. We're told Anna is on the left next to her brother.
She was down on holiday with her mum and basically doing a lot of walking around Tintagel and various other places, and I spent a week down there, probably over a week. They hired a car for me, and I carried on down there.
Did it result in anything or not?
It didn't. But I was unaware that there was also people following Boris Johnson in London at the same time.
But I was hired by News of the World?
Yes, but I wasn't aware of that.
If Boris Johnson thought a bike would amount to counter-surveillance, then he was wrong.
They supplied a bike to me from News of the World building. They brought a bike out to me and I parked my car in a car park and followed Boris Johnson round on a bike.
Mr Blunkett.
Another cabinet minister was targeted in 2004. Home Secretary David Blunkett was having an affair with the publisher of The Spectator magazine.
I was asked again by the news desk to follow Kimberly Quinn around, so I followed her around for 17 to 20 continuous days. On one particular day, she loaded the child in the car and drove down to Kensington and parked nearby David Blunkett's. And they got photographers down there, and photographers took photographs, which were the photographs on the doorstep of David Blunkett and her.
But that made big news.
That was big news, yes. That was big news.
Newsnight has obtained copies of News International financial records confirming that Derek Webb was paid for surveillance by the News of the World. In January 2004, they paid £1,050 for his surveillance of Stephen Twigg MP, £300 for Charles Clarke MP, and £1,275 for surveillance of Maxine Carr, the former partner of Soham murderer Ian Huntley. Derek Webb says that after the phone hacking scandal emerged with the prosecution of News of the World private detective Glenn Mulcaire in 2007, the documents became less specific. In this document from last year, it simply says Brompton Watch.
Executives knew I was doing this work because they were very pleased with the work that I was doing.
Because it was leading to headlines?
Yes. So I was doing this work for them. And I was aware they knew about it because I was being fed back by journalists, different journalists, saying, you know, excellent work, and couldn't have done it without you.
But it seems the new management at News International are keen to put clear water between them and the past. On Monday, they told us it had been wrong to use surveillance on lawyers acting for phone hacking victims. What would your answer to them be if effectively they say to you now, listen, we don't want anything to do with that 8 years, 9 years of work you did for us. It was a mistake. We shouldn't have got you to do it. We're a little bit embarrassed about it. What would you say to that?
Oh, I'd be very surprised, because I don't think they couldn't be embarrassed by it, because
well, they were commissioning it.
They were commissioning it and being pleased with the works.
The most controversial surveillance jobs were on lawyers acting for clients trying to sue News of the World. And it's worth noting that one leading MP on the Select Committee, Tom Watson, was also watched. The circumstances around these cases will be on a long list of tough questions in Parliament tomorrow for James Murdoch.